I'm Dodge Stewart and I am the Head of Power Planning, Advice Quality and Standards at Octopus Money. So Octopus Money is on a mission to make financial services accessible to pretty much everyone. So our kind of target customers and the market we serve is very, very broad. And that comes from our financial coaches who were the kind of bedrock of our business to start with and took us to the point where we are now. They provide a non-regulated guidance service to help people understand their money. And that can be for literally anyone that needs just a starting point or a plan or a little bit of steer onto what to focus on and what to really target, all the way through to our more wealthy clients with a higher asset base who work with our wealth planners and look at more complex needs around their investments, pensions, and bigger life decisions that require a little bit more specialist advice. So it's a very, very broad spectrum of people that we serve. And we also work in collaboration with other parts of the Octopus group, such as Octopus Legacy and Amicable, who work with people around bereavement and divorce and making that work for people, making sure that their money is taken care of as part of that process. The way that we provide both coaching and advice at Octopus Money is that combination between a human to help guide you and a technology to facilitate the process. So everything that we do in a client-facing sense is underpinned by technology at every point of the journey. It starts from initial inquiry and helping the client to book in with us and find the right route. It's the data gathering to make sure we've got all the information we need to build a financial plan. And that's consistent across the coaches and the planners. Everything is centered around the plan produced by our in-house technology to show that client what are you on track for, what are the threats, what are the things we need to consider, and what are the opportunities that we can take advantage of. And then it goes through into our quality assurance work, so making sure that our coaches and advisors are doing the right things. That's where we utilise Aveni to make sure that we've got really full coverage of those conversations and we can pick out things where perhaps things have gone wrong, but equally pick out things that have been delivered really well so we can keep evolving that journey and making sure that people are on the right track and people are doing the right thing and ultimately delivering right customer outcomes. So before Aveni Detect, our approach to quality assurance was basically a Google spreadsheet and myself and my colleague Alec and Ree going through that spreadsheet and trying to make sense of it, trying to allocate things and completing very manual quality assurance type checks that probably took us somewhere between 1 and 2 hours to complete. When you go end to end to actually listening to the call, constructing the feedback, filling out the form, highlighting the evidence, all of those kind of things, it was a really manual, really laborious process. And we initially covered about 5% of our calls with that call checking. It did develop a little bit to be more like 15 to 20% of coverage, but we still had a significant amount of our interactions with clients that were unassessed and potentially hiding both potential quality assurance issues but also opportunities to learn and improve the service that we offer. One of the limitations was absolutely around time, so it was just every single step of that process was manual. So finding the call in the Zoom Vault library, finding the call that actually you've got a full hour's worth of calls and not one that cut out in the middle of it all, finding the transcript, preparing the checking form itself, all time by time by time. And I think overall we've probably reduced that using Aveni Detect by about 50%. So the reason that we chose to partner with Aveni Detect is largely because it's so simple for us, and that is every step of the process that we've had with them. So the initial conversations with the Aveni Detect kind of success and sales team, the process of then embedding that into our existing technology stack, and then the ongoing support that we've had to evolve the model, make sure it's assessing the right things and giving us the depth of feedback we need, has all just been consistent, straightforward and simple. And crucially, it works. So from a very early point in that relationship, we could see that it was picking up the key risk areas that would worry us. And that happened within the first few months. So we knew that we'd made that right decision. We saw some evidence in a trial that we ran as well. And then we've just really evolved that and worked really closely in collaboration to make sure it works and continues to evolve as our propositions evolve and change as well. When we initially rolled out Aveni Detect and Aveni Assist, as you'd expect with any change, the reaction was mixed. And some of that would come down to demographics. So some of our people would be a lot more in tune with tech, a lot more comfortable with the concept of AI, and there would be others who see AI and technological advancement as a bit of a devil and a potential threat to ways of working and the ways that we do things. There's also a degree of people being used to what they do and knowing what they know, so it feels like another change initially. However, particularly on the assist side, from the coach's point of view, so we have a mixture of coaches and advisors and about 60 headcount in total using Aveni at that point. But when they started to see the benefit of Assist being able to streamline their process, so again, for coaches it was about a 50% time save in creating their cases. For advisors it was around a 30% time save initially, and that's probably even higher now. When they could see that benefit coming into their own work, they started to see actually the benefits of Detect in terms of getting really quick feedback from their respective line managers and from my team, really quick insights into the things they were doing well, and the ability, if something had gone wrong, for it to be caught quickly and then put right for the client quickly. In my role, thinking about advice quality and standards and driving that, the key save is time. So time save is about 50% from where we started, and that continues to grow. One of the barriers to that time save is actually us, because our proposition has changed quite recently. We've been amending some of the things that we check for. It would probably be even further in terms of a time saving benefit, but at the moment it's around 50%, and that's crucial for us because it means that not only have I got 100% coverage with all of the client interactions that our advisors and coaches have, but I've got the ability to identify problems and therefore target our training strategy and our people strategy on how we fix those issues. A really good example is around vulnerability. So clients with potential vulnerabilities is a huge area of concern for the Financial Conduct Authority and for most businesses that work within the financial services space. Using Aveni Detect has allowed us to understand really clearly and quickly what is it that clients say that should make us think about potential vulnerability, and what are the conversations that are happening with our coaches and advisors compared to what should be happening, and therefore build out a really bespoke training program to remedy that issue and ultimately lead to fairer and better outcomes for those clients with those potential vulnerabilities. So the way that we continue to evolve the relationship with Aveni Detect is through a system really where we have weekly catch-ups. We're looked after by Archie. Archie is always willing to kind of point out things we could be doing better, point out how we can improve the usage. What we will talk about in our catch-ups is effectively what's working well for us, what needs to be automated, and what can we change. So one of our initial challenges was the way that we phrased our questions. They were very nuanced to the way that we approach things at Octopus Money, and to an outsider looking in, trying to then teach an AI how to use that when you don't necessarily get it yourself was a real challenge. So we worked with Archie to rephrase those questions, make them more translatable into the language model so that things could go ahead there. And we track effectively the percentages of automation and accuracy from the automated responses across our team. And that then becomes the focus of our work in a sprint process with Archie. So right now we're thinking about how can we automate more around the risk conversation for our advisors. How can we make sure that when we're talking about changes in circumstances and we're talking about including a partner or not within the advice process, that Aveni Detect knows exactly what it's looking for and what a good example looks like. When I think about how we've embedded AI into our quality assurance approach, particularly when using Aveni Detect, I think the biggest surprise for me has been the speed at which an AI model can catch up with what you're doing. So initially we thought it was going to take a lot longer for the model to understand our ways of working, to understand the nuanced points of our approach compared to the traditional advice market. So if you think about traditional advice, it's broadly quite formulaic because it's so heavily constricted by regulation that it has to be. Our approach, particularly around the coaching side, is a little bit different. And so I was surprised pleasantly by just how quickly we could work with Archie to get the language up to speed and to pick out the key words, key phrases, key moments in the call that were really important to us. So Octopus Money has always been an early adopter for anything tech-based and particularly AI, which is partly why we started our relationship with Aveni in the first place. We knew there was an opportunity to make things more efficient in that QA space, so we sought out partners to work with on making that happen. As we grow, we're adding AI and automation more and more into everything that we do. So it's such a central part of our focus for the future that on a Friday afternoon, all of us are empowered to go and play with AI and see if we can make something within appropriate safety frameworks, of course, but we're empowered to go and make something and see if we can make our business more efficient, more effective, or more impactful. In the kind of wealth planning space, we were quite famous for launching Ron and Hermione, for any Harry Potter fans out there. So we built those into our advice process to help our planners, our advisors, and our client support executives to quickly, effectively, and correctly generate things like our narratives, our advice decks, and our suitability reports. And that's been huge to speeding up that process and making us more efficient and ultimately making the journey smoother for our clients. It is everywhere in Octopus, so our data, our reporting, even our self-service in terms of the way that we request support and request ops. AI and automation is central to all of that, and I think that will only continue as we go forward. But it's important to say that I think AI can sometimes be perceived as a threat to people, and actually that isn't the case for us. It's very much about how do we use AI to supplement what we do and make it better rather than replacing the person that's doing that role at the moment. I think any firm that's not currently utilising or planning to utilise AI in their process will fall behind and will probably struggle to keep pace as the kind of market evolves and as we move into the future. I think the key reason for that is that people expect pace nowadays, and that comes from clients right the way through to the senior leadership team of a business. People want things done and they want it done now. And if you're still in a kind of antiquated manual model, then you're always going to be behind the curve. You're always going to be finding problems at random times, and your cadence is going to be slightly off in terms of finding problems, fixing problems, finding opportunities and exploiting those opportunities. And having worked in other larger financial services firms in the past, their approach to tech can be slow and quite cumbersome. There's good reasons for that because they need to ensure that they get it right and get it right first time. But I think the more that they embrace AI now, the more effectively they'll be able to build a model that works and works consistently in the long run. We're part of the way there because we can be a bit more dynamic as being a slightly smaller firm. But I think anyone who sees it as the enemy will find that they're either going to have to invest in multiple different solutions to achieve what we can achieve with one, or they're going to spend far too many people hours in chasing manual processes, chasing manual outcomes, when they could have a really impactful system that takes that hard work and the legwork out of it.